Trophies. Win. 88.5 UFM. It's all about you.
In a country where headlines change by the hour,
The Lagos State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources has designated this location for a key enforcement operation.
one voice breaks it down with clarity and confidence with some of the biggest opinion leaders. From politics and power moves to business trends and entertainment buzz.
All right, welcome once again to everyone joining Journey Live across the country and outside the country as well. This is streaming on radio 885 UFM. If you're in your car, your taxi, please make sure you increase the volume. This conversation is one that is quite interesting, one that you need to be a part of. We're also streaming live on TikTok at J_on_air, on Instagram 885_. On X last week, a lot of people had so many things to say, some pro, some against GMOs, but what we're going to do on the show today is break it down. If you're listening and saying, Jay, I don't even know what this means. I saw the flyer and I'm not sure what you're talking about. Well, you want to be sure what we're talking about here. When it comes to science affects every single person, because you have to eat food, you understand, and you need to know what you are putting into your system. Now, I'm just going to go about the question, why did the government not have dialogue with the people? Why were Nigerians not carried along? These were some of the conversations that were trending on social media over last week into this week. We had some key figures like Aproko Doctor getting dragged on social media for, his defense to an extent of GMO. He released a video on YouTube, breaking this down, talking about the pros and the cons and asking people to go get knowledge, which is why, I said we need to have this conversation on J on Air today. Now, here are some of the supporting arguments in Nigeria here. Some say that GMOs help to boost food security and economy. Others say empowerment of local farmers with pest-resistant crops. Another is reduction in chemical pesticide use. Now, here is what the opposition is saying about GMOs: health and environmental concerns from civil society and nutritionists, and accusation of poor public consultation. They are saying that, Nigerians are not informed. Nigerians are not carried along. Now, a lot of the cowpea beans we're eating, a lot of us may not know that they could be GMO. And people are saying that we should have been informed. We should be aware as Nigerians. The government does not get to decide what you eat. The government does not get to decide how you eat. You should be carried along when it comes to what gets into your system. Other worries include Nigeria becoming a dumping ground for foreign biotech companies. More critics going to include Health of Mother Earth Foundation and some other health professionals. The major issue is generally low among Nigerians, the awareness level about GMOs, which is why if you go to the street and ask people what is a GMO, they talk, I never chop today. But the truth is that you need to be aware what you eat and what you take into your system, which is why we're having this conversation on the show today. All right. I want to officially bring in my first guest joining me today on the show. His name is Dr. Patrick Ijewere, is an internal medicine physician and holistic wellness practitioner. Welcome to the show, sir. Good to have you here.
Jay, correct?
Yes, Jay.
Delighted to be here. Thank you for the privilege.
Of course, I know that this was short notice, but you made time to be here because this conversation is one that I can tell you're passionate about and a lot of people should be aware. So I'm just going to go straight in and ask you, what are your worries when it comes to GMOs, especially here in Nigeria?
What are my worries? Should I rephrase that sentence? Let's take a historical reference.
Okay.
We people have existed for eons, thousands of years. We've known how to cultivate our food from the time man realized that seeds can be replanted. And over the decades and centuries and thousands of years, we've done so successfully. Going back to ancient Egypt, going back to biblical times, going back to our African empires of Songhai, Mali, Ghana, the Benin Kingdom. We've known how to cultivate and feed our people for generations. There's minimal places in African history where you hear of us being unable to feed ourselves, even during colonization, even during the era of African enslavement, we've known how to feed ourselves. Suddenly, we're told we should have higher yield. Jay, you don't drive from Lagos to Ibadan before?
Yes, I have.
What do you see? Green. Show me the best statistics from any satellite. In Nigeria, we farm less than 5% of our geography. We have how many people who are unemployed? So if you're really sincere about improving agricultural produce, the land is there, the people are there. Create an environment to combine those two resources and we'll achieve it in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Over the years, we've lived through scenarios. In the 1970s, it was OFN, Operation Feed the Nation, under then, General. We're told by a certain number of years, we cannot feed ourselves. So therefore, we need to do certain things now. And so we began to bring in all these, quote unquote, toxic chemicals into our agricultural space. 1980s, under another general, we were told, Green Revolution, we must increase our production, otherwise by some year, our population will be starving. We brought in all kinds of equipment, agric, and you name it, into the space, more chemicals into the space. Now we're told about, is it green agra, or what they want to call it now, and that GMOs. And we are told that we are growing population, cannot feed ourselves, or use these seeds, they are higher yield. And we buy this lousy economic word, yield. Let's start with that word, yield. I get a seed of corn. I plant it. From it, I get a yield, let's say 5 cobs. I take 1 cob, the next year I plant it, get another 5. Every year I keep multiplying that. Before you know it, I have, 10,000, maybe bushels of corn. Began with that 1 seed. Now you tell me, I have this GMO seed that'll give you higher yield. Okay, so I plant it this year. And maybe instead of getting 5, I get 10. I said, let me plant it the following year. And I may get only 5, if at all I get anything. He said, no, you can't replant it. They are patented seeds. Come and buy it from me again and replant it. The yield of that seed was only 10. Done. Whereas my previous seed had given me generations. Which one is giving you more yield? The one that can only go 1 generation, and the one can go multiple generations.
Well, but many people argue that, I understand what you're saying about the super yield and how we really have to trust nature as we've been able to feed ourselves for generations to come. But many people argue that, the science does not necessarily back this up. That at the end of the day, if we don't move towards the direction of the GMOs, we're not going to have seeds that can take care of us, as a country. We are hearing that Nigeria faces the hunger risk, which is why, the NBMA is saying that we need to move towards the GMA direction. And they're saying that the science does not back up people that, go against GMO.
You've used 2 terms, science and hunger risk. I just gave you 3 stories. First one was OFN in 1970s. Hunger risk. We took care of ourselves. They gave us a deadline. We have passed that deadline. The other one was Green Revolution, hunger risk. Use the word science. Today, we throw around that word as if science just began last year or with our last generation. The pharaohs who built the pyramids of Egypt, have we duplicated that science? Our ancestors who sailed from Africa to the Americas before Columbus and traded to the Americans, have we duplicated that science? Our cousins over in Burkina Faso who had astrology that today only science is revealing, have we unraveled that science? So to come here and say science is telling me this is an insult on our ancestors. Stop that nonsense. We're buying some arguments by somebody else and we're hogwashing falling into it. Science is nothing new. Nothing new to our ancestors. The Benin folks who crafted artwork that today sits in museums abroad, there's no science to it. We're people of science. It's in our blood, it's in our genetics from time immemorial.
All right, doctor, let me ask you, what are specific health risks? Because people argue that, I've heard your argument about, us being scientific from time immemorial and us being able to take care of ourselves. People are asking, what are the specific health risks when it comes to, GMOs? And are these backed by peer-reviewed studies, or these are just things we're saying based off just history?
Okay. Let's break it down.
Okay.
My first degree is in chemistry.
All right.
Then pharmacy for being a medical doctor.
All right.
So let's break it down. Let's look at genetics. Genetic code. I won't use the typical alphabet of A, C, T, G. Let's just do A, B, C, D for ease of understanding.
All right.
So on your genetic string, you have A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. You have readers that know how to read this genetic sequence to give you proteins that the body recognizes. Proteins for your eyes, proteins for hemoglobin, proteins for a wide range of things that we make in the body. That's how it has occurred. Neatly, the body knows this code gives me this protein is for this purpose. Now you take A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, and you insert A, B, C, D, C, A, T, A, B, C, D. The code that usually read A, B, C, D now is reading A, B, C, D, C and makes a protein. The body says, hey, that's a foreign, that's not normal, that's not our protein, that's a foreigner. What does the body do? What it does best? Immune system says, hey, clear that protein out, attack, deal with it. You make another protein, B, C, D, or let's go C, D, C, A. That code gives another protein. The body says, that protein is not isn't part of us, so please, let's deal with it. So just from the genetic sequencing, you create chaos in the proteins that are derived from that sequence and the other molecules that derive from that sequence. That's a very basic genetic level. When you have abnormal proteins, or you trigger the immune system in that realm, my colleagues will say, hey, that's the basis of ailments that we call mutated ailments, like cancer, autoimmune disorders. That's as basic as I can get on this space. We can go beyond that. They've told another fact or misinformation that when you use GMO, you data. All pesticides. What do? They either damage your neurological system or your immune system. Yes, that occurs to the insects, but guess what? To us also, it affects us cumulatively. I mean, one could go on and on in terms of the damaging effect of the seeds to our DNA, to our immune system.
Yes.
The things you must use along with the seeds to our neurologic system, our immune system, and other things that can cause disease in the body. The list goes on and on.
That is really poor, and that many people cannot afford it. And people are saying, is rejecting GMOs a realistic public health, policy? We understand the worry, but is it realistic when it comes to public health in a country like Nigeria that, people argue is a country that has multidimensional poverty? And getting food, especially in this economy and in this time over the last 3 years under this government has even become more difficult.
You've thrown out several questions. One of getting waste that occurs in the farms. Waste because the products cannot be shipped over to the market. Our issue is not productivity. Africans, including Nigerians, were highly productive people. And we've proven that over the centuries. Go and read our history. Issue is not production at all. We have the land, we have the people, and pineapples, pawpaw. I have colleagues who ship us mangoes from Benue. They might have wasted at the farm because nobody is there to uptake it. The issue is never production. The issue is the infrastructure to get the produce to the end user.
All right, I want us to quickly listen to something before you continue from the DG of the National Biosafety Management to be able to hear what she said, and I want your reaction on this. She was involved in a conversation yesterday, and this is what she said.
Nigeria actually needs GMO. Our food security. We cannot meet up our food requirements by the rural farming that we do. Even in advanced countries,